can I ask you to come around and just complete the circle on that side? Tamu,
Yeah, man,
please
need
don't
some
sit
chairs
there.
here.
There's some chairs on this side.
Courtney, chairs, please. Turn him back. You hear us?
I will ask Sean to do that so we can get started. Can we just have you all on this side? Chimo can come around from here. The circle is around here.
Bring up your chair. Or sit beside. Yeah, man, bring it up. Finish the circle.
Idel and Carol, can I invite you to just come in the circle for me, please?
Anybody beside me. We want you beside me. Yes, I want him beside me. Come sit down.
Please.
This circle is not no top-down business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to get started.
Yes, Miss Barnes. Tell her to sit down. Oh, in this... You ready now? Let us truly begin, as we always do, with our prayer. This village circle of love. So we recognize that power and presence of love in our midst. It's that love that has this perfect idea called a village circle meeting, flowing through the conscious awareness of each and everyone in this charmed circle of life. I know that as we just let this idea fulfill it or projects itself in through our conscious awareness, it comes with wisdom, understanding and clarity, harmony, and indeed, we stand forth as a consciousness that allows love, peace, joy, and prosperity to flow in the conscious awareness of all who come into contact with us. This is our vision and this is our mission now. I give thanks for this wonderful opportunity of sharing as a community that stands on principle. I give thanks that all this is so, and so it is.
Thanks, Reverend, and welcome again, everybody. I hope the mic is on because we're streaming. Christine, I'm going to ask you, as usual, to assist in just taking the notes for me, as you did the last time, please. All of you, welcome, welcome, welcome. With me, as usual, Liz is here from our SPIP committee, our implementation. You're not hearing me, Vance? Oh, sorry. Any better? Okay. So last Village Circle, we had that in January, and the minutes were sent out on February 16th. It was emailed out. Don't know if you all saw that note, if you all got a chance to recap. But I brought a printed copy here. So today we're going to just pick up on some of the topics that we discussed, and if there are any new ideas that you want us to talk about, then certainly we'll invite your participation. There's a mic up here that you would come and speak at if you have a question or you have something to share. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, so the last Village Circle, we had spoken about our budget, and at the time, we had said that our budgeted expense for the temple was $16.5 million, and that our short-term debt then stood at $1.9 million, midterm debt of $780. In terms of the financials, there was a question of moving it towards November to June, and we had agreed that no, it would remain as is January to December, because that was when filings took place. Fundraising, we had also spoken about wedding planners to be invited, the meditation garden to have a digital presence online. We spoke about the sale of a piano to raise some funds. We also spoke about the temple's financial sustainability on how to use the temple's grounds. Then membership, there was a question of having an information package. 1/3 of members at that time had paid their dues of 6,000 annual fees. We will provide you an update on that. And then there was the suggestion to refer to the dues, to the payment as dues and not as fees. And so I think we have adopted that already, and we have envelopes being provided. There was the question of having the Google form filled. Maybe Liz, you'll be able to tell me there. At that time, only 25 persons had filled out that form. And then there was the request to have the PR intern come in to do the calls and a script to be created. Then there was a suggestion of having the board members, the new board members, Mr. Paul Chisholm, Dr. Tamu Davidson, Christine King, to be put on their names to be put on the Facebook page and the web page. Not sure that has been done. And the improvement in communication with the Temple, Village Circle meetings, with the Temple community and Village Circle meetings to be held quarterly. So this is the second of our quarterly meetings. And then there was a suggestion to have a dedicated person to manage the website. I think that is in the making. And new minister, there was a question of where we were with that selection committee and whether the package was included in the budget. So there will be an update provided. And the strategic program implementation, strategic program implementation process, the question of how to fund the SPIP members who are invited to read the documents. I think that may have been about having us read the strategic plan itself, because many of us hadn't done so as yet. And we ended with a closing treatment by Reverend Michael. So that's just an update or a synopsis of what was in the minutes of the notes of the last meeting. So we can move progress from there. Anything you want to have specifically highlighted at this time, given the topics we discussed, it was wide and varied. Anyone can start. Bless you. So I can tell you the budget, we haven't changed the financials of the budget. Pretty much the proposed expenditure is still at 16.5 million, and we're hoping to earn income of 18.6 million for the year, the annual budget. So we haven't changed those figures, okay? Any questions on anything that you want to ask pertaining to the budget at this time? Not getting any feedback on that? Yes, sure.
Thank you. I just wanted to find out if you could give some additional information about the streams of revenue anticipated to bring it to 18. And secondly, if the intention is to pay down on some of that debt.
Okay, Liz, so the breakdown for that income, we're budgeted for offerings at 1.4. Our membership fees, we have here 300,000 for the annual. All of this is annual figures that I'm giving. Tithes and pledges at 10 million. Property rental at 2.6 million. Venue rental at 1.8. Classes and workshops at 900,000. And other income of 1.5. So that would be the activities that we do. That would give us this income of 18.6 million. So I can just give you an update on what has been happening in terms of our offerings. Year to date, I didn't bring my minutes. You have it, Reverend Ann? Yeah, yes, last minute. I'm just gonna ask Reverend Ann to get the last minutes. I thought of our board meeting so I could give you the financials. Sorry, I didn't bring it in this folder. But what I know has been happening is that our membership fees, we have 300,000, and you know that's 6,000 per person. Um, what's the math there? That was 50. Right, we were looking at 50, but as at the last meeting, we had already had 50 persons who have paid thus far. So we moved that target and said, well, maybe membership this year would bring us 75 persons paid up fully. So we are tracking good in terms of the membership dues. And the envelopes that we have placed out there in the vestibule has been gaining traction. I mean, we send the reminders ever so often for persons to pick up an envelope and do your dues. And there's a reminder, if you notice, from the platform, because that was one of the other things that we said we needed to do. We don't do it every week, because then you will tune out the message, but certainly we have been tracking. So more persons have paid their dues to date, and this is May, so we're doing very well this year. Yes, we're trying to see if we can make membership dues. We would love to, because membership is 160, and we would love to have 100. But year to date, our income as at year to date, which is to March, so this is our April meeting that we had, where our income stood at $9.2 million year to date. And our expenditure was at $8 million, and our net surplus was at $1,047,000. So we're tracking, I think, in the right direction for sure. And we continue to pray this up. So offerings were at 900,000 year to date, and tithes and pledges were at 4.7 million. So, and other income was at 3.2 million. So I think all of us, the concerted effort that we have given towards improving this situation is bearing fruit. So we want to just continue to prayerfully support our ministry and the activities that is planned. Thank you, Rev. Next topic for update, the fundraising activities. To date, we did the play in February, the Bassett Dawkins play. We did raise 155,000 from that play was netted. So we sold all tickets and we collected all proceeds. And so we thank you again for your support. The other fundraising activity we did, Rev, anything else? Let me look on my activity sheet. And the commitment was to send out the events, the calendar of events. We had a movie night. How much did we net? We made 23,000 from our movie night. So yes, so that was the two activities so far. And classes is ongoing. We have made 232,130 from classes so far that we started in January. So there's a second set of classes to start real soon. I know Reverend Ann is ordering books for the day class, and the online classes, we will tell you what those are in short order. So those are the programs we have done so far, the play and the movie night. Planned activities, other fundraising activities planned. We mentioned about the piano, so we want you to know that yes, we had gotten sale for the piano, and we had said we would commit to putting something towards the music ministry. So as soon as we have that meeting with the music ministry to decide what is it, how we are approaching this. No, just one. We are only selling one. No, we can't sell two because we don't know when we might need the backup, right? So, and you use one for practice. All three pianos were tuned, and the piano tuner has been paid. And after the third one, after the tuning, that's how we got the sale of the third piano. What was the asking price? 120, and we got it. Right. So it's sold, yes. The wedding planners have not yet been in And the reason for that is the meditation garden, which is what we want to showcase. We had a meeting with MOE and the discussion about getting that fixed up, and there has been a quote that we have signed off on, the board has accepted, and so that would start, that would be the initial start, and then the ongoing weekly or whatever terms, I don't know how that will work, will continue. There's a question at the back. You need to come forward and use this mic for me, please. I'm sorry, because I don't know. Can we move the mic around? Vance, is there a move? Vance is gone. What you? All right. You want to say it, Shirley, and I'll repeat it. Yes. Tell me what's your question.
My question is there still a restriction on water? And if not, is anybody like the gardeners who are to come able to use water?
All right, so there is still a restriction on water by the National Water Commission, but we do have 2 drums because we were harvesting water, and that is still happening.
Question. How can you maintain the meditation garden if you expend all that money if you don't have water?
We do have the 2 drums, Shirley. Oh, I'm sorry.
They're very finite.
All right, so the question is, how can we maintain the watering of the facility with just the 2 drums and the meditation garden if there's a water restriction? And there is a water restriction by the National Water Commission. And I'm saying that what we have been told, because I think the piping was already laid for the meditation garden from those drums, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the initial thing. So there is piping inside the meditation garden that would be fed from the reserve, the 2 drums that we are harvesting rainwater from. So it would happen. But what we need is to clean up the meditation garden, the overgrown trees and other things, the major pruning first, and then we can do that. But yes, Shirley, we plan to use the resources of the water harvesting in order to maintain the meditation garden. Any other questions? Tanks, yes, there are 2 water tanks there, yes. I'm sorry, my apologies, it's tanks, water tanks, yes, not drums. Oh, everybody's wondering what I mean by drums. No, we have 2 huge tanks that we had gotten installed by the MOE, and the piping was laid. That was some time ago. Any other questions surrounding that? The MOE has their plans for Labor Day. Jean? Yes, oh, I'm sorry. The benefit of the questions, yes. The mic is set up here, so when you have, I'd invite you, if you can move from your seat to please come, because I'm answering before I say the question. The question from Jean was, can we include the meditation garden as part of the activity for Labor Day? And that's a question also from Sharon. All right, so the suggestion is that we can include the meditation garden as part of the Labor Day activities, and I will say that the MOE, who is responsible for that, will take that suggestion in their planning committee, because that's the best answer I can give you right now. Unless, Courtney, you want to say something, you can sit at that mic and speak for me, please. Just sit and speak.
Greetings. We have that in our thinking, and Laura is spearheading the youth engagement in that. It perhaps will take more than youth, but that is one of our emphases for Labor Day, with heavy youth engagement, the meditation garden.
Okay.
But this is not I want to ask a question, just clarification here.
Sure.
And this is not my contribution yet, but said it's about the musical instrument. I don't understand. It's a paradox to sell a musical instrument to raise funds to help a musical ministry. To sell and when you're thinking about the expansion of the ministry, to sell a piano to get some money to expand the music ministry, which require more pianos. I don't understand that.
Courtney, I don't know if you're aware, but we have 3 pianos, including a baby grand. We only use the baby grand for the services, and we use the other piano for rehearsals. The third
But we are
piano,
expanding music ministry.
The third piano was never necessarily being used, and we have an electronic keyboard as well, an organ, that we don't use either. So we need other musical instruments. So the idea of getting funds from that piano would be to help us towards getting the other musical instruments that we need to expand the ministry. So we need guitars, for example, drum sets. Those are the other items that we need to expand the music ministry.
The fact that we have excess musical instrument means that we are contracting. Because why is it that we have more pianos than more musical instruments in that area than why? Why do we have more? More than we need?
Courtney, we were gifted one, the baby grand. We had one piano here, and there was one that we had in the container over there that was a Sunday school. So we have brought over all 3 pianos in here. We didn't need more than 2.
And you're not going to get another Sunday school?
Courtney, my point is we are trying to expand the musical range of instruments, so you don't need 3 pianos. Okay? That's it. Thank you. Any other question? Yes, Val.
My voice doesn't carry, so.
There's the mic right there. You can
Okay,
sit.
on the same subject of music, the baby grand is on loan. It wasn't gifted, it's on loan. Anyway, I'm happy that you got sale for the other piano. And what I'm asking is, you mentioned music ministry. May I be invited to the meeting? Because
So I'm not a part of the music ministry. So
I
the
don't know
the
who
members
the-
are here.
I don't know who the music
who is
ministry
involved
is.
in the music ministry. So they will
please invite
approach
me.
you.
Thank
Valerie
you.
is asking to be a part of the music ministry. So members of that ministry, please ensure that you include Mrs. Chuck. And names of the members, so far I have one member name who is still here, and that's practitioner Sandra Cooper. So she will tell you who are the other persons. And Angelo? And Angelo Elliott. And I think Steve Golding. And Carol Campbell. Okay, so there you have the names of the persons, Val. Sorry, so the names are practitioner Sandra Cooper, Steve Golding, Carol Campbell, and Angela Elliott, musical, Angela Elliott. Musical director. And Mrs. Chuck, who is now volunteering to be part of that ministry. Yes, Doreen, please go ahead.
No, I'm taking you back to the water.
Yes.
I don't know if Shirley was implying that we are not having enough rainfall, and therefore the 2 things out there mightn't be full. We have been trying to find a source for non-potable water. So if anybody knows where we can get it from, because all the places that I've asked, I have not been able to. If anybody knows where we can get that from, maybe they can give us that information.
Okay.
So we can see.
And you're right, because I'm aware that was one of the things the MOE was trying to do, to get non-potable water to fill the tanks. And so thank you for sharing that, because maybe in my head, because I think maybe it was done. So but the tanks are not empty. Let me just make that absolutely clear. The tanks are not empty. All right? Any other questions, or we can move on to another item? Sure.
Just adding to Doreen's comment, The persons who supply water, they're not going to put non-potable water in their tanks because their main business is potable water. So a tank load of water that can fill the 2 drums is approximately $10,000, between $6,000 and $10,000. One of the things that we need to be mindful of is that we will never be in a position to fully irrigate the meditation gardens, and therefore, what will be watered is what necessarily needs watering over the dry periods. When the rainfall comes, let's enjoy what it brings and what it presents, because, you know, it's happening everywhere.
Yes.
And I also would like us to expand our thinking a bit to not waiting until we have a perfect meditation garden to have events in there, but recognizing that there are things that we could explore. Okay?
And for sure, I don't think we're waiting on the perfect meditation gardens. And persons are coming in. We have one booking for a wedding already in December. So, in the imperfect state, somebody has booked it. So we are not waiting on that either. I fully agree with you. Shirley has her hand up. Yes, Shirley. She's coming forward this time. Thank you.
Well, this is a perfect meditation garden comment. I don't know if everybody is aware, and Clive Thompson is not here, but he has done the meditation garden, I wouldn't say numerous times, but certainly more than 1 or 2, at great expense. And the result was quite beautiful. And the thing is, people donated things, Chinese temple bells, which are wind chimes, orchids, plants, and they paid a lot of money for plants and drip irrigation and so forth and so forth. However, because of the lack of water, it is now nearly a desert. And all the plants have died or been stolen or something like that. So the thing is, we're not looking for perfection. We're just trying to maintain or establish a continuity of the effort that has been put in.
Point well taken, Shirley, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. I know the MOE has been working assiduously on that, and you will see the results of it, okay? So we're certainly not going to let the effort, all of that Clive had put in, go to waste. And that meditation garden is special to me. I'm gonna just get personal. I had my wedding in there.
But it's a money-making thing, in prospective money-making thing.
And the orchid
so
is still alive.
It is a crucial.
Yes, Shirley. Yes. The one you put in there. So it is going to happen. I know she's a part of the MOE, and so she's very passionate, and so I appreciate that.
I don't see one wind chime in there. They've all gone.
All right, Valerie, so we will see where the wind chimes went. I don't know if the wind took them, but point well taken. Friends, the next thing was about other fundraising events. It was mainly surrounding wedding planners, which can't happen without the meditation garden being in a little more semblance of order. Any questions? Is that a question from the floor? No? Oh, water is spirit. Okay. Thank you for the reminder, Sharon, that this is a spiritual community. Money is spiritual, but we get what you mean. All right, so we're gonna move Sharon to the next item but you have a point. It's not that it's not so. But I'm not sure. I think maybe because you might have heard the mention of the the cost of the potable water or the water to fill the drums, I'm not sure, because I think our financial position right now shows that it's moving in the right direction where we are year to date, and we have already agreed on the initial costing to clean up the meditation garden and trim other trees around the grounds, because it is the hurricane season. So we are already taking that into account. And then we'll go specifically into the full maintenance of the meditation garden. So it's a step-by-step progress. I know where have we made money, the essence of the question. Tamu, I got in action. I need you to come to the mic for me, please. No, I didn't cut you, Sharon. I said to you that we... Yeah, well... What yeah. I'm not sure. Okay, my love, you're welcome. Tamu, did you have a question? Okay, no. Courtney, what is your question? Because we want to move on to some other items. And Liz had, the chair of SIP really needed to be acknowledged before you. Courtney, are you going to be? Liz, over to you.
Thank you very much. Just a question. In your budget presentation, you indicated that, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was $1.8 million for events to be raised. Was that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've spoken about the wedding aspect, and thankfully you have one already booked. And the wedding planners, I think, have visited and they've given an indication of some of the areas that they would want to see improved. Now, in terms of the other aspect of rentals, what is being proposed? I know at the SPIP level, we've talked about seminars and rental of certain portions of the building during specific times and so forth. Is this part of the income to be generated?
So that's part of the income to be generated, not just the meditation garden.
Right.
All rentals that we do here. So it's rental of the sanctuary for Thanksgiving services. It's rental for workshops. It's all of those that's the financial sustainability team.
Right.
So I'm going to allow Reverend Ann to respond.
Good, because I think there was some information that we needed.
Because Mrs. Brown and Mrs. Kessler came by, and that's their main thrust, because we had to get the square footage for in the sanctuary, separate and apart from the annex, so that they can send this out to companies to use it when AFIA is not using that site for workshops. So that's already in place. In fact, I'm to pass on this square footage to Mrs. Kessler. So they have been doing some work. It's 3 visits, and they came by and looked at what we had.
Thank you, Reverend Ann. Yes, Courtney.
The consciousness that has brought us this far over the past 42 years is not the same consciousness that is going to take us to the next 40 years and so on. So there needs to be some upgrading, and we find sometimes that we are stuck in a pattern of thinking. For example, the water thing is not only literal water that can help to let the plants grow. We can retain the water. That's why I introduced the concept of composting, so that we have less loss of water when you add it to the ground. That, in other words, you put some water and it serves, instead of serving you 2 days, it serves you 2 weeks. Not exactly 2 weeks, but a longer period of time. Composting can help to do that. So you want a consciousness, a presence on the ground that brings to the attention of the MOE, who deal with more policy type things and so on and so on, to take some action. But we don't have, on an ongoing basis, a consciousness, saving the time of David, when we'll bring and say, oh, I noticed this on this plant and so on. What can we do? We don't get a question coming from the ground. So an early warning system so that the expert them can intervene on a timely basis. So I want to think of that, having a permanent gardening presence for the next 40 years from now on.
Thank you for that, Courtney.
And one last thing. Some other persons, like High Jump, would join the MOE, but it would
Like
have to
who?
lift its bar because somebody of means are saying, why do not we think of solar electricity and so on and cut down the electrical costs and so on? But the consciousness is not yet ready to have conversations about certain things. So bear that in mind. Those are the examples. I'm not exhausting the list of issues that can be
Okay,
attacked.
I
and then the
will
upgrade.
take the easier of the two examples. You mentioned the matter of composting. So I believe that that's something that certainly can be adapted.
Every leaf that you see come off the ground here, none of them should go to river.
Right, so that's something to take under consideration for sure. That, I think, is a very good suggestion. Oh, it's part of the MOE activities for Labor Day, I'm being told. Okay, so then we will learn how that is to be done properly. So that's one thing that will be implemented and is already in process by, bringing that to the fore on Labor Day.
And of course, we can recommend the raising of the consciousness of each member of the MOE. Each person all of us have to raise our consciousness. Everybody, and the MOE has a special history and responsibility, so their consciousness have to be very high.
All right, and Jean is saying that all of us need to raise our consciousness, but even more so the members of the committee of the MOE who is spearheading that kind of activity. Reverend Ann wants to say something.
Courtney, in terms of this, the use of solar energy, the temple actually is courting the idea, because if you notice the lighting on the property, it is expensive. In fact, it forms, I think, 60% of our electrical bill. And the lighting on the property. About 60% of your bill. Because we have one, you notice the posts outside and it's extremely bright because it's a big property. We lose bulbs constantly. I mean, we're still trying to ask EU to give us the tape of the person who came here with a ladder, came over the thing, put it on that first lamp right in front of Just Sugar, and stole a bulb that cost $10,000. That is what we have. We keep putting in bulbs that cost us over $5,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. So Mr. McCoy, our electrician, said we should start looking at using solar to run the lighting of the place. So he's going to give us an estimate so that somehow we can start do some fundraising, because we lose too many bulbs.
Excellent. And that means the meditation garden can be also lit because it's supposed to be lit. 10 black light.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Ann, for that. So there you go, Courtney. The idea is also being put forward by our own electrician, who obviously sees the importance of us reducing those bills. So thank you, one man. Okay. You mean about the replacement bulbs? Okay. The other thing here that we wanted to talk about is the membership package. I can tell you that hasn't been done yet, the improved membership package, so that people can have an information pack. So that's something to do. But we also would like somebody to volunteer to help the office with putting that together, because that's something that we need to have done for the temple. So any takers, just call the office and volunteer your expertise in putting together the information. We have one volunteer. Sharon is volunteering. Thank you, Sharon. Okay. In that package, we want to put what are the benefits of membership in there, in that information pack. Okay. The other thing was the Google Forms. Any update on that? Liz, I'm asking.
50 persons. Yes, Reverend Ann
Oh.
can also answer.
Oh, Reverend Ann
It
can
has
answer.
doubled.
It has doubled, so now 50 persons. But that's an improvement. Last quarterly meeting, it was 25. We now have 50. Chris, that's 100%. So we are going to send it out again. Do not do it again if you have already done so, but the persons who haven't, please complete. Yes, Christine.
Can you please speak on the microphone so the people who are online can hear exactly what you're saying?
Okay, Christine, let me ensure I'm speaking into it. Is this any better? Oh, it's not me. Oh, the people on the side. Oh, I'm sorry. You need to make it clear then, Christine, because I thought it was myself. Okay. Persons who are making comments, please come to the microphone that we have set up so that persons online can hear the comments, please. The next one, the new board members, their photos have not gone out on the website as yet because the website is under construction. And the update on that is that we have selected an individual who will be spearheading the website development. And the tech action, is that who, Christine? Yes. The tech action action team is the persons who are spearheading that initiative. But I know that the decision has been made. The tech team? The tech team, okay? So that is moving forward. I'm sure you will soon see evidence of the update on the website. Anything else that you want us to cover? The other thing was the update on the new minister. So Sandy, you want to provide that update as a member of the selection committee for me, please?
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks.
Okay, so as a quick update, we had sent a package off to the coordinator who is working with us to ensure that we follow due diligence in the selection of our minister. That package included the temple and the facilities, the grounds, the membership, the board, the leadership, and so on. All information about the temple, and that went off and was sent to various communities across the globe, both in Centers for Spiritual Living as well as Unity, because there is a sort of a symbiosis between the two organizations. So a Unity minister could easily qualify. And to date, we have received one package from a candidate. We can't really give you any details just yet, but it's a very, very promising candidate, and we are to, well, that's one, you know. Ideally, one ought to choose from three, but you know, it feels sometimes when you meet somebody and you know that this is it. But let me just zip my lips.
Zip your
with
lip.
that. All of us who have seen the profile, we're going, you know, we have a prayer, a covenant that we have created coming out of this, our own church community. And we have been using that prayer to describe our right and perfect minister. And we're just ticking the boxes with this particular person. But ideally, we ought to, you know, wait to get at least another one, preferably two other candidates. So we're going to meet with Reverend Julie this Wednesday, and she will guide us as to the way forward. I just want to remind everyone as well that the process of minister selection is, you know, what she had advised us. It's not an overnight thing. Mm-hmm. She says that in some communities it can take up to a year. And we sent we completed our package and sent it off, I think it was November of last year.
That's
just
right.
around the same time that Reverend John left. Mm-hmm. And it's now May. Mm-hmm. You know, and so there's a constant, you know, she has to constantly be, you know, stoking the fire globally. And we're looking for the right person, and the right fit is there, and we just know it, and we accept that, and we continue to pray about it.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Sandy. Just encourage us to keep saying our sacred covenant we see that it is bearing fruit. Just keep saying that prayer with us. Last month we gave it out at the end of the service. Okay, is there anything before you go? Any update? The next update was SPIP, so Liz, yes, hold on for that. Let me take that. Please go ahead and provide the update for us.
Good. Thank you very much, Jennifer. In reality, most of the updates you have already provided through your report. So I don't think I have anything further to add. Doreen, I don't know that we have anything. No. No, I mean, she's just saying that there is nothing much.
Okay.
So pretty much we're covered. So unless there are any questions, then I'm open to questions.
Any questions for the SPIP that you want to know so far in terms of what's happening there? Any questions for that team?
What is that team about?
Liz, no. Okay. SPIP, try to figure it out. Strategic is the first word for the S. So finish the rest. Anyway, one of the initiatives of the SPIP was for community building. And it came through, can I call her name? Denise? One of the two Denises. Oh. English, it's English I'm talking about. This community building thrust. And it was a great success. And we have been having telephone calls to say when you are going to start, especially the art. So I'd like to answer the question very honestly to those two ladies who have called in. So could you tell me about that initiative then, Miss Liz?
So you need to give the rest of it. Okay, part of the Labor Day activity. Labor Day. Go ahead.
Right, so we are in the process of putting together a calendar of all the activities that are being planned. Sonia Williams is assisting in gathering that information because there are a number of teams. For example, the Ministry of the Environment, they are doing the Labor Day project, right? So that's one community building activity. As mentioned, both Denise Inglis did the art class and Judith did the flower arranging. Denise Williams has the financial aspect coming up. Mm-hmm. And I know that Jean and, is it Jean and
Jeannie?
And Jeannie, they are doing the legal clinic. Okay, so there are a number of things that are going on. And what we really want to do is to be able to present this in a quarterly sort of schedule so that everybody knows. We haven't quite got there yet, so bear with us, but that's the idea.
All right.
Right?
Thanks, Liz. As she mentions that, there was the talk of the calendar of activity that the temple itself does. And so the first half of the year didn't get done, and I know there was the initiative to try to get persons together to share that calendar that didn't get off the ground. But for the second half of the year, for June to December, even though I don't think we're going to go the route again of trying to get persons together to talk about that, I don't think that's on the table. I'm looking at you, Sandy, but so that's not on the table because I know you had tried that initiative. No. So we're going to just email out the calendar with the knowing that the ideas in there will shift. But the temple events, separate and apart from the community building activities, some of these activities that the temple will be doing is also community building. So for example, the Mother's Day that we're trying to do on Sunday, that we need everyone to support us on that initiative, that Denise has kind of helped us to spearhead and coordinate and organize. We can't do these events, and Dawn is assisted, can't do these events without persons volunteering and saying, yes, I am willing to support, or I can lend a hand or do something. It's really, really challenging if you don't have enough bodies behind the planning of these events, even the temple events. So for example, in June, we have on there the prosperity workshop. Denise is going to do a financial workshop. It will take some organizing. We have a Father's Day thing because we don't want to just have an initiative for mothers and nothing for fathers. So we're going to do it in a different way, not the same way that we're doing for the mothers, where we're going to be putting up tents on the lawns this coming Sunday, etc. That will not be the same approach. But we certainly do need persons, men in the community, to help us with the Father's Day initiative. So I'm just giving you some ideas of activities to come. The next thing, we had the university singers that we said we would take a house. And that's July. And it may coincide with our anniversary celebration. And so we will need persons to help. I can't emphasize this anymore. I know persons come to me and say, you spearheading it? No, I'm not. I simply just I'm just simply saying what's happening. But you don't need to come to me to find out if the activity is happening. No, when the calendar comes out, whatever you can volunteer into to help us to organize, please do, because we need support, Reverend. Anne needs the support. Janet is the person in the office. We all need the support. And I'm not here trying to be a one-man show, so I want to make that absolutely clear, okay? And so if you want to speak, those in-house, speak with us after. For even the Mother's Day, we're still looking for volunteers to help us to bring that activity to its fruition next Sunday, all right? Speak to Denise. Dawn is also helping. Speak to me. But it's a team effort, and we need persons.
So before we go, Jennifer, I just wanted to spend a moment to clarify SPIP, because I hear people might be wondering, what the heck, are we really doing? So the strategic plan implementation process, that was just a mouthful, right? And I've kind of said, listen, just let's call it the action teams. And the purpose of these teams was really to implement the actions coming out of the strategic plan. So that's the purpose of it. We have been a little, shall I say, diluted in a way from that specific objective, because there are other things that kind of have to happen. For example, the community building. Right now, you heard Jennifer speak about the lack of bodies. We cannot implement without bodies. So we have to excite people to come back to the temple, to re-engage persons in community. And then when we do that, then we have something to sort of say, okay, so you're here, we have this big vision, we have this big plan, help us to implement it. So I just wanted to say those few words.
And thank you, Liz, yes. And I wanted to say that, as Sandy pointed out to me, welcome back Sharon, who is walking towards the microphone now. Sharon Reyes is a member of the temple who has not been in touch for a while. She has been out of, well, let's say years. She's been off the island, out of Kingston. Sharon has come back to temple. So she's one of those members who we have engaged. She's already doing some work here. Because we haven't spoken, because we have another quarter. I didn't mention the master class that's coming up in October. But Sharon has come in, and let me just let this out so that you know she's working already. She helped Reverend Anne to go through the files for all the previous participants at master class, and she has done the list so that we can know who to contact and engage with them again and say master class is coming up. So that's what we need, persons to come in and be a body that helps us. So Sharon, you have the mic, and welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. I hope it will. I give you a great pleasure, but I think maybe I was sent. Just to put it that way. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking, would it really harm, even though it's late, and we operate with that difference, and fathers are mothers too, if we would be more rich and robust to just combine the day into a mother and father's day?
That's an idea.
You know, sometimes you have to just do things with a different and elevate, because it's to include the men in something like that, the mothers get excited about it, you know.
Sharon, it is just it's great. It's a great idea.
Yes,
But the challenge is now we're promoting the mothers one as hats off to mom, but we're not excluding the fathers at all. We really want them here with us.
Yes.
Hats off to but we're gonna have a special thing for the fathers.
Our hats
to be
off
honest,
to the mothers and the
right? But
extended
we're gonna
family.
make Father's Day just as special as we're going to do for the mothers. We promise you that, and then next year, yes, right.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. So, before we close off, is there any other questions that you want? Mrs. Barnes wanted to say something. Jean, over to you.
Just two things. One was
Sure.
on the community outreach program. This community here is a very large community. It's also quite prosperous, I think. And I was wondering if we couldn't, perhaps, if they have a meeting, a monthly meeting of the Citizens Association, if we couldn't make a little flyer and put it in the letterboxes, just telling us about inviting people to come and attend our service one Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. Just a little letter saying you're cordially invited, and maybe to see if we can get an invitation to their Citizens Association meeting and go and tell the community about the Temple of Light. That was just an idea that had come to me, that they may be able to, just in each letterbox.
Thank you, Jean.
Well,
That's a very good
it was
idea.
just to let them know about us and then ask if we could come and be privileged to address their Citizens Association meeting one evening to tell them about us. Nothing threatening, but just to invite them here. That was the first suggestion.
All right, go on.
Yes, so that was it. The second thing was this. From last year, November, last year, I retired as executive director of the Kingston Legal Aid Clinic. I've always worked like that because I've been small. It is just the business of giving things. Because Legal Aid Clinic is a poor place, poor everything, the pay everything, and the people. But I loved it and I retired. Now I suggested to the board last year November, because I know they have churches. I know at least 3 churches, the Christian churches, the Pentecostal and the evangelical churches that have clinics as part of their service to their community. So I said I would be very happy on a Saturday morning. I cut short my yoga class to do it, but I'd be very happy to come from 11 to 1 on a Saturday. I didn't want to come unless there was a need for it. So I asked that a survey be done to find out if the members who came here would be interested, not only registered members, but anybody who came in a clinic. The survey was never done. Anyway, we decided to go ahead and plunge in. The attendance has been very poor, and I'm wondering, because it seems to me, when you are a lawyer, the newest lawyer is allowed to charge $8,000 an hour for legal advice. When you get to 20 years and above, like me, you're allowed to charge $35,000 to $45,000 per hour. I have never charged that, never. I'm not interested in that. But this was going to be free, so I thought people have landlord and tenant, they have contracts, they have all sorts of things that they want to get advice about. So I said, well, I would do this on a Saturday, 11 to 1. Elizabeth Sinclair was a paralegal. She would come along and take the notes and so on. Well, I've never had more than 2 or 3 people, and yesterday there was nobody. And I'm wondering if it is that people feel maybe it doesn't have the blessing. It's never been an announcement. I have always had to announce it. And I don't know if people think that I don't do legal work anymore. Just some friends would beg me make a will or drop a contract for them or something. Nobody comes. And I can't understand the lack of interest. And I'm wondering if it is that there really is not an acceptance of this service to our members. I don't know if the $500 for the security, we can do away with that, because to tell you the truth, we don't even see much security. So we don't even have to, it can be absolutely free. But I'm wondering if there's a reluctance or an aversion to offering this service to our members. And I said, you know, nobody came yesterday, and I'm going to do it until the end of May, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. Can't do it the 20th, I have a wedding to go to. But there's another lawyer, Jean Slow, is here as well. And I'm going to, and if by the end of May, there does not seem to be any interest in people taking advantage of this service, I'm going to just discontinue and continue to just stay at my yoga class for the full time that it is had. I just want to make that comment because it is very strange to me that people are not willing to take. It's private and confidential. People don't want their business to be known, and it's private. You just talk to the lawyer alone. So I just wanted to make that comment and to see if maybe it should stop so that I can stop.
All right.
On Saturdays.
Liz wants to make a comment, and I'll ask her to do so.
Yes, thank you. So, Jeannie, I think it's an absolute wonderful idea. I think maybe it would be good if the Temple were able to send out, maybe a week in advance via Orlando, a little notice about the legal, it's like a legal clinic, right? You call it whatever you will, but something that says Legal Advice Bureau, whatever, and give some ideas about the kind of things that people, right. But, you know, it's always helpful to say, you know, do you have a will that you want some advice on? Do you have a contract with your lessee or whoever that you want to get some advice on? Whatever it is. But give people an idea and maybe give them a booking link. Because when people have to book, it sort of gives a level of, you know, am I going to come down and sit and wait? You want to know also for yourself, am I going to waste my time? So having a little schedule that people can just click on and say, book with me and tell me what it is you want to do. Yes, it's not that I'm not offering. Jeannie, we're on the same page.
Okay,
I'm
so
just saying,
yeah.
Have a booking link so that you know.
All right, so two things I want to say. It's announced, it has been announced, Jean, it has been announced. The reason it's not on there every week is because people tune out that weekly thing, but not because it's not announced from the podium every Sunday. Every week, the link is sent out. The ad is sent out by Orlando. There is a mailing that goes out, a beautiful thing.
I didn't get it for this week.
You didn't get it this
No.
week? Okay, you didn't get it this week. Well, maybe it didn't come this week because there were two things. Orlando had a death in his family, so let me just let you know that this week was really challenging. We are lucky that we got anything. So there are two things that he didn't send out for us. He didn't get to send out the village circle that he normally sends out, and we didn't get the legal thing sent out. But he sends that out every week. What you can say to us is, ask him to include that booking link that Liz is suggesting. He can create that. I'm not sure now when that happens, who is going to be able to monitor that link, unless Elizabeth is going to take it on, because it won't be Jean. We know that. So Liz, while we take the advice, somebody has to then say who will take that booking link. It won't be the temple, okay? Because they don't have anybody here that can do that. But the ad from Orlando does go out every week. Even if one didn't go out this week, it does. All right?
We are on the mailing list, sorry Liz, we are on the mailing list for this community. Because when they have a meeting that needs us, they invite us. So it's not that we are out in the open. Question to you, do you want me to put it on it? I can. The legal bureau ad that we have. You want it for the members or you want it for the community? No, you said social outreach. That's why I'm asking that question. Okay, I understood. All right.
Yes, Liz.
I'm happy to monitor it as long as I get the link that I can see and we decide who was booked.
All right, so.
Right.
All right, so we will ask Orlando to do it. Okay, great.
Half an hour, Jeannie? Would everybody, you book, what, half an hour for each person?
No, because she's going to schedule. She wants to know how much time between appointments.
Right.
11 to 1, 15 minutes to each person, maybe. Denise. Okay, thanks, Jean. Denise is at the microphone. Standing before you.
Okay, I just wanted to add a suggestion. I think based on the location, and this actually following up on what Mrs. Barnes had said, based on our location, I feel that we should have a corporate outreach in which we send an invitation to our upcoming classes to companies. And although we charge, we could still offer 5 or 10 complimentary classes. You know, one class complimentary to 5 or 10 of their staff members out of the next upcoming 6 weeks courses that we're doing. Because I understand you're doing Catherine Ponder and it's... Pardon?
Prospering Power of Prayer.
Right. So I'm just suggesting as part of our outreach, because one of the challenges is that when we have events and we're seeking sponsorships, people don't know who we are. So I think that should be like a monthly, ongoing outreach. That's my suggestion.
Thanks, Denise. That's a good idea, too. Good. Are there any other questions? We're about to wrap this meeting up. Or suggestions? Or comments. Christine is going to share comments from those persons online. Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. There's one comment I have before, though. We have this notice board, this
Temple notice board, community notice board.
Online notice board. I think we should put all the announcements, everything on those notice boards every week. So it's a constant reminder. Whatever time you go onto the notice board, you see that. In terms of Jeannie, I agree with what Liz is saying. We need to know like things. Okay, if you want to know about wills or know about debts or know about something, give people ideas of what they can come and ask you about. You know, just when you said us come to a legal clinic, people are not really going to take it on that way. If you have a will that you need to fix, if you have an issue with somebody, just give them ideas. So even if it's happening in their lives, they will know exactly what it's all about. So anyhow, Lilith Nelson, 2 or 3 of us sat with Sandra, re-inputs the yearly calendar of activities. It needs more inputs. Yes, I also continue to share my consciousness and expertise via SVIP. Okay, in terms of the Golden Triangle Association and Downhead Close Citizens Association, but careful, I will explain. I think it's the whole question of inviting them in. Stephen says it has been in the announcements. Not quite sure exactly what that means. Legal advice. Okay. Or not the need, Jean. Or maybe it's not a need, Jean. That the legal advice is not. Maybe it's not a need. Or maybe what you can do is just have it once a month. Let's start off with once a month or 2 times a month. You don't do it every week. Let's do a build up and do as much as we can to promote it. And then Lilith again. Christine, can you share some of my comments? So that's my story right here.
Thank you. All right. So
okay.
Lilith, thank you for your comments. And yes, okay, we will be guided by you in terms of the community, exactly how we will approach that, because I know you're a member of the Golden Triangle Citizens Association. So please, if you could, share your expertise on that with us as to the approach. Thanks.
Okay, and she also has one more. She's here sharing, I am here keeping silent, but sharing consciousness. While not leading the various ministries, I am an active supporter of MOE, music, youth and hospitality ministries.
Yes, Lilith,
consciousness.
We know you do the work for us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bless you for that. Yes, Dr. Tamu?
Yes, I just want to endorse the suggestions about the legal clinic. I think It's about advertising and how you promote it. And, just like how you see on TV, a legal clinic, do you want to resolve something between your spouse? Are you getting divorced? That kind of thing. So I agree with that approach. So we just probably need to just reframe how the information is sent out and also state that you can book or you can walk in. So to emphasize both.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for that. Denise, if you could come forward and use the microphone for the benefit of the persons online. Yes.
Yes, I would
And
like
welcome.
Well, good to be here. I just want to say that when it goes out saying Temple of Light Legal Clinic, people want to know, I think that might hold people back because they want privacy. When it says Temple of Light, they don't know who they're going to see. Temple of Light is like a generic name, And I think if it said Jane Barnes, legal counselor through the Temple of Light, would that be okay?
Like legal advice, by lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah, people, okay, clarify, Jean. Sorry about that, I didn't realize. Just that people are always saying they're so private, they don't know. And they're something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Denise.
okay. That's okay.
Confidential. Thanks, Denise. Appreciate that. If there are no other comments online, Christine? Okay, fine. We are going to close off. I would like to ask practitioner in the house to close us off. Tamu, practitioner Tamu, you are at the mic, so could you just do our closing treatment for us? And I want to thank each and every person who participated in this quarterly Village Circle. Remember, the next one is in the next quarter. And we thank you really and truly for your support. Over to you, Tamu.
As we gather in this stillness, we're knowing that God, the one source, everywhere, ever present, that one source of harmony, peace, unity. We are one with this one source of love. We are loving in this sacred village circle, this temple. We embrace the divine love and spirit of God operating in and through us. As we have deliberated today, we have shared from the place of the divine spirit that unfolds and operates in all the activities that we have planned, are to be planned, and continue to execute, expressing the divine spirit and one source towards that truth as we evolve. And as we know that this Spirit of God's presence goes with us, continues to grow and unfold, we're knowing this perfection is expressed through each and every one of us in each and every one of our spheres of life as an outpicturing and demonstration of the one Spirit. And so we release this to the law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Tamu. And thank you again, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Liz, for co-hosting. And thank Tyrell and the tech team and Christine for streaming and for taking notes. Thank you so much.